What's up, nerds? My name's Airbase, and welcome to the first episode of my beginner guide series for Gigantic, where I'm just going to go through the basics of the game. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about pretty much what the game is about, and the game is pretty much a power race. In order for your Guardian to rampage across the map and do damage to the enemy Guardian, you have to generate it with some power. So pretty much, if you want to think about it, your Guardian is pretty much Goku. He's sitting there, with his hands up in the air, asking everybody for power, which you're tasked to do. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, the yellow bars is how much power is generated for each Guardian, and under that, those are the wounds, which is the health of the Guardian. And there are several ways in the game to generate power for your Guardian. Now, while your game is loaded up, you're greeted with this handy dandy screen that actually has a list of the things you can do to power up your Guardian. And I will be going through each of these and telling you exactly how they contribute to your Guardian gaining power. Now, here's the map for Ghost Reef, which is one of the smaller maps in the game, because it only has 6 summoning circles, and I think Sanctum Falls has 8, and I forget how many the other map had, but uh, the power orbs actually spawn on the summoning circles themselves. And the way that works is that the first orb spawns about 50 seconds into the match at the summoning circle closest to the Guardian. And then it goes on 30-second intervals. So the second closest spawns 30 seconds later, the third closest spawns 30 seconds later, and it continues on like that. And when the Guardian's power bar reaches max and he rampages and goes and attacks the other Guardian, well, first off, when the power bar reaches max, all the power orbs are destroyed. So if you're in the middle of collecting a power orb when the enemy guardians reaches max, the power orb you're in the middle of collecting gets destroyed, and you won't be able to collect it anymore. And after the guardian finishes his rampage and his attack, that's when the cycle resets. So it's important, especially on the Ghost Reef map, if you can take control of that fourth summoning circle, because each team is pretty much given 3 summoning circles if you split the map up in half, and if you're able to take control of that fourth summoning circle or possibly steal an orb from the other team, then it'll give you a great advantage in the match. It's also important to note that if you already have a creature summoned on that summoning circle, that it will automatically collect the orb, but the enemy team can interrupt the creature and steal the orb from it. And if you don't have a creature on that summoning circle, if you go to that summoning circle, you would press one of your skill buttons in order to collect that orb. There are also these things at the bottom of a guardian's feet called power gems that you can destroy, and they will give you power, along with killing enemy creatures while they're being summoned or when they are already summoned, and also with killing enemy heroes. And with killing enemy creatures, you have to be careful depending on what hero you are playing. It might be difficult to 1v1 the creature, as they're actually really strong in this game. And of course, at the end here, we have the values for each one. So power orbs and power gems both give 15 power each, with creature kills giving 10 and player kills giving the least with 7. And then you can also see that you get +2 for every creature you have summoned. So for example, let's say you have 3 summoned creatures and you get a power orb, that's 22 power that you're gaining because you have 15, and then +2 for each creature you have 3, so that's 6, and 15 plus 6, I can't do math, that's actually 21. So you'll be getting 21 for each power orb that you get, and that also shows how important the creatures are in this game, because not only will they help you push and fight, but they also contribute towards the power that you actually get towards your guardian. So you did your job, you went out, you got the 100 power, your guardian is really happy, he's ready, he's hyped, he wants to go, he wants to attack the enemy guardian, which he calls his rival. I don't know the lore behind it or whatever, but anyways, so the defending team now has a shield for their power bar, and they can actually still gain power. So all the methods that we talked about before in gaining power, the defending team can still do, and that actually improves on the defense of their guardian, which decides how much damage the enemy guardian can do. And here you can actually see how much the shield affects the damage of your guardian, as if they do get 100% shield, it is possible that your guardian does 0 damage, and if they don't build up their shield at all, your guardian can do a max of 2800 damage, which is about half a wound, and this does not count. So the shield does not count towards how much damage you do. You can still go and do as much damage as you want. You they can have 100% shield. Your guardian does 0 damage, but you can still go and deal an entire wound by yourself without your guardian's help. And now comes the end game where the guardians transition into what is called the Clash Arena. And pretty much what happens is that the map gets smaller. On Ghost Reef, the guardians just move up, and I think on Sanctum Falls, there's a completely different side of the map that's inaccessible until Clash actually begins. And pretty much the way to activate Clash mode is that at the top of your screen, there's a Clash bar, and you need 8 points collectively combined with both teams in order to activate Clash mode. And the way those points are attained is that a Rampage equals 1 point, and a Wound equals 2 points. And if you get 2 wounds in a row, that second wound will actually be worth double, so that would be worth 4 points. So other than the map changing size, a few other things happen in Clash mode. The first big notable thing is that kills are worth more power. So previously they were worth 7 power. In Clash mode, that's doubled. They're actually worth 14 power. Your Guardians also deal more damage, almost twice as much damage when they're rampaging. And the biggest thing, which can make or break a game, it doesn't matter how ahead you are in the game. It depends on this last part, is how many creatures you have. As in Clash mode, the creatures that you have are brought with you, but you cannot summon any more creatures. So if there's any empty summoning circles, you can't summon any more creatures. And if your creatures end up dying, you can't resummon them. So it all depends on preparing for Clash mode. It's impossible to have a match without Clash mode. You can't defeat a team, you can't defeat the enemy guardian before entering Clash mode. So it all depends on how many creatures you have in order to help you out in this final mode. And if everything goes good, you shall be the victors of the power race.